Okay, hello everyone. Let's get started. So in today's video, we'll recap what we have done so far in regards of setting up Cloudera managed cluster. So we need to have Cloudera Manager node where we have a Cloudera Manager up and running. So if you haven't done that yet, there is a video tutorial available. It should appear on the top right corner right now. And beside that, we should have a couple of worker nodes at which we will run our big data jobs. So in the last video, I showed how we can set up the first one. All others should be set up in the same manner. So if you haven't seen that or haven't done that yet, so the link should appear on the top right corner. So you are more than welcome to watch it. But today I will just go through what we should have, how we should have it, and in the end we will verify that everything is up and running. And starting from the next video, we will start setting up Cloudera Manager um, services on our nodes. So as you can see, I have a CDH Manager server to which I gave 16 gigs of RAM and 4 logical processors. So it's up to you to decide how much resources you give, but the more you give, the best. And for Cloudera Manager server, you should give the most resources. So your nodes will not require as much resources as your server. Oh, and of course, later on, you can say change the settings. For example, if you get some extra RAM or you find out that still your processor has some spare logical or physical CPU, so you can grant them. So 16 gigs of RAM for physical cores and 100 gigs um, of storage. Okay, so them so the maximum size is 100 gigs, and the actual is about 8 gigs as of now. Okay, and for 2 worker nodes, I have 8 gigs of RAM currently assigned to each of them, and 2 physical cores. That's totally fine. And as for Cloudera Manager server, I also have 1 gig of HDD, for each of the nodes. And also, last time we talked about networking. So for each of our nodes in the network, we should have not NAT as it is by default, but we should have here a NAT network, and then we should create this one. So in my case, I have named it CDH network. So if you go to File, Preferences, and here you have Network. So here you can create a new one or just existing. So here we have this network seeder should be defined. Classless inter. So network seeder. Classless into domain routing. So let's assign it this network address, and the mask is 24. And basically what we are interested the most is port forwarding. And this table tells us how we will interact with our virtual machines. So here at the host port, so that the port we should use on our local machine. So for example, if I want to connect to my virtual machine through SSH. Yeah, so I will type this port. Or if I want to connect to web interface of Cloudera Manager, I should type this address, right? And the guest IP and guest port is related to respectively IP address and port of your virtual machine. Yeah. So for example, if I want to SSH to node 1, to my first worker node, um, in SSH program, like I use Kitty, I should specify this port 222 and it will be forwarded to virtual machine with IP address 10024 to port 22, right? Okay, so once it is set up, okay, and for these addresses, you should actually pull them from your virtual machines. Okay, now let's start all our machines and check whether they work as they should, right? Okay, let's start all of them. Okay, node 2, node 1, and Cloudera Manager. So once they have been loaded, we can SSH to them using our SSH manager. Okay, the first one is ready. Cloudera Manager is ready, and Node 2 is ready as well. Okay, now let's go back to our networking, and here we can see, yeah, so if I want to SSH to my manager node, I should just type port name 22. Yeah? So the host IP is always localhost in our case, and to connect to Cloudera Manager, I should use port 22. Okay. Okay, then you should type your credentials you specified during installation process of Ubuntu. Okay, so we are in, right? So it's manager node. Let's check the IP address by executing command if config. Yeah, and we can see, yeah, that internet address is 10.02.15. Yeah, right? 10.02.15. Yeah, so when we used port 22 as our host port, our request has been rerouted to virtual machine with IP address 10.02.15 and guest port 22. Okay, now let's connect to node 1, localhost, and as you see, if we want to get to guest port of node 1 of SSH with H22, we should on our host machine specify port 222, right? 222. Okay, let's see if it works. Okay, let's enter credentials. So for simplicity and also for your convenience, I would suggest to use the same credentials um, in your virtual machines, right? So if config, and as you see, IP address 2024, right? So when we type this host port 222, we have been forwarded to virtual machine with IP address 10.024, right? And to guest port 22. And finally, let's go to our uh, second worker node, localhost, and port. So if we want to get here, we should type 42s. 42s, okay? Hmm, something. Okay, maybe I did a typo somewhere. Localhost 222. Okay. Yeah, probably I did a mistake in localhost naming. Okay, localhost, okay, node 2 and if config, yeah, so as you see, yeah, so internet address 10024, 10026, yeah, and port 22, yeah, okay. Okay, so it seems to be working, and finally let's check if our Cloudera Manager is up and running. So if we want to get to this guest address, guest port 7180, which is the default port for Cloudera Manager server, to this IP address, which is related to our Cloudera Manager server, we should use the same port 71080 on our host IP, right? So just localhost and let's see. Okay, so we are in almost. So as a reminder, by default, uh, all credentials are set to admin. So login admin, password admin, sign in, and we are here. Okay, so if you have the same things, so you have three nodes, at least three nodes, one Cloudera Manager server node and two worker nodes set up. So you have all port forwarding in place, so you can SSH to each of your machines using external SSH client from your host machine, like I did, using Kitty. Yeah, so that's very important because Cloudera Manager will use that to connect to all your machines and install everything it needs. Yeah, so port forwarding is up and running, and also we can see this welcome screen. Okay, so that means that everything is fine, and we can start directly setting up Cloudera Manager services on our worker nodes. Yeah, but that will we do next time in the next video. But that's all for today. Thanks to all for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you haven't done that yet. Also, don't forget to visit my blog available at blog.dataguru.guide, where you can find some interesting articles. Also, uh, last week I started to post some videos on the same YouTube channel related to Java, because Java is extremely important in big data world. Basically, almost all frameworks used in big data like Spark, Kafka, and so on, they will use Java or Java-like language called Scala. Yeah, so that's why I want to give you some Java basics. Yeah, so if you haven't seen that video, um, a link should pop up now on the top right corner. Yeah, so just check it. Yeah, believe me, you will need Java heavily if you really want to become a data engineer. But for today, that's all. Once again, thanks to all for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to YouTube channel, bookmark blog.dataguru.guide, and yeah, see you next time. Bye bye.